Okay, so tell me if you've heard this one before. So we're going to simplify job design. And honestly, I'm kind of excited. Okay, now hear me out. Hello everybody, I'm Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and with patch 7.2, we got some job changes. We weren't going into this patch expecting like any reworks or anything like that outside of Black Mage, and that's going to be the star of today's video. Most of the changes that were made with this patch are just buffs and allocating where damage is coming from for certain jobs and certain roles. But the two that catch my eye the most are Black Mage and Pictomancer. Pictomancer being kind of what we were just talking about. There's been a lot of conversation surrounding Pictomancer and just how powerful it is in the recent Ultimate, because Pictomancer is a job that was introduced with Dawntrail that is really powerful when you give it downtime, because it's able to prepare for when that downtime ends in a way that just gives it a ton of damage. And since, to my knowledge, the latest Ultimate has quite a bit of that downtime, Pictomancer was able to really capitalize on a fight when it's designed like that. So, while there are a lot of changes to Pictomancer in the actual patch notes, what a lot of it kind of boils down to is just reallocating where Pictomancer's damage is coming from, and moving it away from necessarily being so extreme in those downtime windows, most notably in my eyes through the nerfs to the hammer abilities, and moving damage elsewhere. So the goal seems to be not to nerf Pictomancer into the ground, but to just not make it so powerful whenever you give it downtime, which I believe is like the common sentiment quite a few people had in regards to how to actually balance Pictomancer. You don't want to just nerf it into the ground because it was super powerful in one fight and it's been really good elsewhere. You still want it to be viable and to be good, you just don't want it to be such an outlier. But the star of today's video is the humble Black Mage. This will be absolutely polarizing. Now, to properly understand why they're doing this and what they're actually doing, let's go over the adjustments overview for all roles, because this kind of explains what they're thinking when it comes to Black Mage. We have made adjustments to a variety of actions after reviewing the offensive capabilities of melee and ranged DPS roles, as well as the balance within all roles. Due to the unique nature of future battle design, we anticipate situations in which close-ranged attacks may be difficult to execute, so we have generally increased the attack potency of melee DPS roles. In the wake of patch 7.0, Pictomancer's offensive capabilities have been unexpectedly high, so we have increased the attack power of other jobs to achieve a better balance. However, considering Pictomancer's strength even after these adjustments, and their continued efficiency in various duties, we have decided to temper Pictomancer in patch 7.2, i.e. nerfing the thing. We appreciate your understanding. Finally, adjustments to the reduction of potency for multiple targets in certain area of effect actions were made mainly in order to achieve a better balance within ultimate raids. I saw some people on like Twitter asking why they're balancing around ultimates, and duh, why wouldn't you? Like, that just makes sense. You would balance around the hardest content. It's like, if you're not clearing normal modes, I'm sorry, but class balance isn't why. And now specifically for Black Mage, future battle design may cause difficulty with casting spells, so we have shortened the cast time for a variety of actions. Basically what they're saying is you're going to be moving a lot in future battles, in future fights, so we're going to shorten your cast time so you have more mobility. Veteran Black Mages will already say, well, we already were really mobile, but we'll get into that. Furthermore, the effect expiration of Astral Fire and Umbral Ice has been largely detrimental to attack power in situations where players must interrupt casting to address battle mechanics. For this reason, these statuses will no longer expire, and that's the change a lot of people are talking about right now. So the way Black Mage worked was that you had two real phases. Astral Fire, where you did your damage, and then Umbral Ice, where you recuperated your MP. But they were timed, and you can manage it, and what differentiated an amateur Black Mage from a halfway decent Black Mage was not allowing these effects to expire because, well, it really screwed up your rotation. So the more you understood not only Black Mage, but also the fight you're actually fighting, it led to a smoother experience and allowed you to really capitalize on the damage Black Mage is able to put out, or at least theoretically so, through not just understanding your job, but also the fight. To my understanding, this is a flow that many veteran Black Mages absolutely love and adore, that's kind of being compromised with these changes because, well, the big punishment about Black Mage with being able to drop Astral Fire and Umbral Ice and letting those expire, that just doesn't happen anymore. In patch 7.1, ley lines became a charge-based action, which has resulted in movement restriction lasting longer than intended, so we have reduced its duration. In light of all these changes, we have generally amplified Black Mage's firepower by increasing attack potency and adjusting the trait Enochian, or if you tell other Black Mages, Eno-chan. Now, I'm going to preface what I'm going to say in regards to my opinions about Black Mage. I'm not a Black Mage player. To me, these changes seem designed not only to address what they're talking about, and that is giving Black Mages more mobility for future fight design that theoretically or hypothetically is supposed to call for more mobility. These changes seem designed to target people who were off-put because of the unique design of Black Mage. Because when you first try out Black Mage, it can be kind of intimidating learning the flow, learning how many things you can fit into each window, and just managing all the different resources Black Mage actually has. Veteran Black Mages will have this down pat. It'll be second nature to them because they've played it a ton. They analyze this thing. They understand how Black Mage works. But I think there is this perception surrounding Black Mage that it's just a harder job than the other ones. And when you have replacements like Pictomancer and the dominance we have seen Pictomancer display recently, alongside other jobs like Red Mage or even Summoner within the same role, I can understand why a lot of people may go, well, why would I play Black Mage? Why would I start playing Black Mage when I can play anything else? And that was kind of my way of thinking. I didn't like Black Mage particularly because, well, it was a bit slow for me. I generally favor faster gameplay when it comes to MMORPGs. And the lengthy cast times Black Mage brought to the table, that appeals to some people because, again, it goes into that other, element of Black Mage in terms of managing your resources and timing things correctly. That is a playstyle that appeals to quite a few people. But it's just the way Black Mage handled itself didn't particularly appeal to me, let alone in the Dawntrail iteration up to now. Mainly because I didn't personally like the Umbral Ice changes made with Dawntrail. I only leveled the thing up because I have a retainer that's a Black Mage, and when I got it to max level, I just didn't touch it again. And again, I'm not a good Black Mage by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even think I'm decent at it. But I fought a training dummy for a few minutes earlier today just to test out the changes and the flow of it. And while I'm absolutely positively certain I am nowhere near a optimal rotation for the thing, it felt better to me. And it appeals more to me and had an easier onboarding experience, at least for me. Again, I can only explain my personal circumstances and my personal thoughts surrounding Black Mage as someone who is not a veteran Black Mage player, who has not played this thing to the highest level this game can offer, but I like the pace of it, and I kind of feel like I want to play more of it. I don't know if this feeling will start to fade away the more I play it, and if I put some time into actual encounters with it, but I can say my first impressions for these changes, I kind of like it. Now the real question, should it matter? Because that's a genuine question we need to ask ourselves. Should my opinion on Black Mage even matter to begin with? Should the goal be to appeal to people who don't already play Black Mage? Or should the goal be to appeal to people who already do? I think they're trying to hit somewhere in the middle because the actual flow of Black Mage feels very similar to Black Mage, at least in my experience. It's just faster, and I don't have to concern myself with these status effects like Astral Fire and Umbral Ice dropping. Which, if you were a veteran Black Mage player, chances are you weren't letting those things drop to begin with. So the only real mechanical difference for a veteran Black Mage player, in my perspective, may just be that, well, it's faster. Also, with how nerdy some Black Mages can be, I can imagine there's going to be quite a few new rotations that are in development because of these changes. I think there is a world where people become more receptive to Black Mage after these changes, going forward into the future when we get new content coming online, like the Occult Crescent in late May. I can see that happening. And I think the calculus that Square Enix is trying to do here is, will the people that become more interested in Black Mage and willing to try it out and get onboarded to Black Mage, will that group of people outnumber the people who become disillusioned with Black Mage because of these changes? It's no longer what they like, or it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. Will that first group of people that get onboarded to Black Mage because of these changes outnumber the people that just stop playing because of them? I think there's a world where that happens. And I can understand, because I've talked about this before, right? This big discussion surrounding job design in Final Fantasy XIV, the oversimplification of job design, removing friction, removing pain points, homogenization. To me, Black Mage still feels unique, but I've also never agreed with the idea that a class or a job should have friction in an MMORPG just for the sake of having friction. It's always been more nuanced for me than that. I want it to be fun and interesting. The way we get there can be different for each job, can be different for each class. But just because something makes something harder, I don't view that to be inherently a good thing. But I can understand why there would be a lot of pushback or just initial pessimism surrounding changes like this, because this has been a trend for the longest time in Final Fantasy XIV in removing pain points, in removing friction, in removing unique elements from jobs, all in the service of making things easier, more accessible. But it's like, I only played a little bit of Black Mage on a training dummy this morning, and I kind of want to play more. It's more snappy, it's quicker, I like it. And like, if those elements of Black Mage is always the thing that put you off from playing it, like you just didn't like how slow it was, like that being the main one, or you didn't like the fact that these effects could drop off and it just felt like absolute dog doo-doo. If those are elements to Black Mage that historically have put you off from playing it, you might want to give it a bash and just try it out for yourself. But I can like equally understand why some people will just not be receptive to these changes. They have fundamental shifts in design philosophy for an established job, and I think the biggest takeaway here is there's no real easy answer here. And like, time will be the ultimate teller here. Because from playing Black Mage, I'm positive I like these changes. I want to play more of it to test it out more. My problem is mine's not geared whatsoever. But we go back to that other discussion. Should these changes appeal to me, or should they have done changes to appeal to that established Black Mage audience? Or here's a better question. Do these changes appeal to a more casual Black Mage audience? It's all just hypothetical, right? Like, we don't have the numbers for this. So it's all just guesswork at the end of the day. Personally, I am receptive to the increased pace of play Black Mage now has. It still has a feel and a flow that feels reminiscent and similar to Black Mage. It just lost that real big punishing element. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, your thoughts on these Black Mage changes. Do they sound cool to you? Do they sound off-putting to you? Are you a veteran Black Mage player? I want to know how you think. Do you think there's a way that these changes could be better in the future with a couple of other changes? I would love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and get real nerdy. I'd love to hear them. And if you've not played Black Mage, or you were just like uninterested in Black Mage up to now, do these changes spark curiosity for you? Do you want to try it out now? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, until we meet again.